Greetings.
Hello.
Love.
Hi.
Love.
We haven't done that in a while. We got to start it off, you know.
I went back. I rewatched parts of the Barbarella episode. That was some premium content. That was a good episode.
Yeah, it seems like we've lost some people. Somebody will be joining us late, but it's
Yes.
I think it's been a day for
We're all involved, yes. But thank you all for joining us. Hello, Kyle, Harrison, Scott. You're early, man. The BlizzardCon's not till tomorrow. What are you doing? Come on.
Scott trying to buy product early.
Hello, Scott Cookson. Hello. George is here too. Awesome. Perfect. We got both Cooksons. We got Bodie. This is Bodie.
Hi, Bodie.
Hey, Bodie.
Yes, unfortunately, Ralph and Brian have been trapped inside of a puzzle box and are in some alternate dimension somewhere. Hopefully, Krystle will be joining us a little bit later. She had some stuff she had to take care of.
yeah.
But as you can see, we've got special guest star, Mr. David G.
Oh
Whoa.
no.
Oh,
Is that
You okay there,
Noah's
Noah?
issue?
Oh,
Did he-
boy.
Is he making like he's frozen?
Oh no.
No, I think he was actually frozen.
Oh. First stream of the year.
You know what?
All right. Thank you, Scott.
Pinhead. It is Pinhead that has his little
There he
hand
is.
in all this. It's that
Mhm.
box.
Yes.
mhm.
All right. No, you good now? Oh my God, Krystle! We got Krystle in the house.
Heyo.
Hey, Krystle.
Hello.
Hey,
Hey.
Are we live?
We are very live.
Awesome.
We
What's
are.
up, guys? Yes. Sorry, I was getting Botox on the right side of my face today, so I can't wear makeup. So don't mind the holes on the right side of my face.
I wouldn't have even noticed had you not said anything.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
You look great.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
And I like whatever this is in the background, your little light thing.
My big lights. Woo woo.
Are those sound activated?
They are.
Whoa.
Wow.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, Sir John. What's up, Grave Mistake? And what's up, David? Hello, hello.
Hey.
Well, welcome everybody who has made it.
Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
It's a nice 5's a good number, I think, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not magic, but it's all right.
Mhm.
Yeah, magic is 3.
Is it? Why?
Man
that
and a
song.
woman make a little baby. And now there's 3 in the
From
family.
Schoolhouse Rock, 3 is a magic number.
3 is a magic number.
Well, so now we're going to talk about Hellraiser.
Mhm.
So something a little less wholesome than Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah.
So I will start by saying that I have never seen this movie before. This was a
Same.
long time coming. So who else did not see this before?
I
Just
haven't
Krystle
seen it
and I?
I haven't seen it in a really long time. I'll say that.
Same.
I think the special effects looked more timely when I saw it the first time.
Was that in theaters in 1987?
I might have seen it in theaters in 1987. I've probably seen it since then, like on cable or something, but not for a long time.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if I saw it more than once because honestly, it scared the living crap out of me.
Mhm.
That's one movie that really kind of like, and I watched a lot of horror films, didn't bother me, you know, but it's like there were 3 films. It's like Hellraiser, the Friday the 13th, and can't think of the other one. But yeah, Hellraiser was like top of the list. That really scared the shit out of me. That really, really was disturbing for me.
Mm.
Yeah, I see why. I definitely see why. I didn't know that Hellraiser came out in 1987. I just remember Hellraiser coming out in like the 2000s, I think.
Yeah, well, there was like a lot of direct-to-video sequels.
And then there was like a remake.
Yeah, the remake is what I think I'm talking about. Yeah.
We
So
figured
not
out,
on Hulu.
yeah, and at the office the other day, we realized that
No,
there's
not on Hulu.
we could have done an entire year's worth of Hellraisers. There's like more than 12 sequels that exist.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Wow, I don't think I was aware of that.
Jesus.
Hellraiser, Hellbound,
Yeah.
Hellraiser 2, Electric Boogaloo.
I mean, I knew that there were.
Hellbound was Hellraiser 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I knew there were sequels. But yeah, after the first one, I wasn't going to watch anymore after that. So
Hellbound and Down. We got a big rig full of demon souls. We got to get to hell.
And then
Dude,
the
there-
third one,
Half of them are good, according to Sir John.
the third one, Hell on Earth, had like a CD Hellraiser thing, and like that threw CDs at people and chopped them in half.
Wait, okay. So which one was the one where they like take the horse and they splice the horse?
Oh, that I don't know.
Cool. That's the one that I saw in the 2000s. So I'm gonna go with either Inferno or Hellseeker, possibly.
Was it
People
Bloodlines?
Maybe Hell World.
Oh, I think Sir John is saying The Cell.
Which is not even a Hellraiser movie.
oh,
It's a
it's
Jennifer Lopez movie.
Yes, it is.
Cool. Yes, Sir John. I actually think that is what I'm talking about. So I've never seen any Hellraisers.
So. All right. So while we're on the
Well,
subject,
what did you think?
No.
Oh, go ahead, Jake.
No, I was going to say, while we're on the subject of talking about past experiences, David, would you like to share your personal connection to the Hellraiser franchise, say in comic book form?
Well, when I worked at Marvel, we had the Hellraiser license after the first movie came out, and so I took over and worked on some of the books. I did like a holiday special and
Yes.
Yep.
Oh
And there was
my
actually
gosh.
I
Oh.
got one. I had one regular issue of Hellraiser. I actually also did a. I did a what was it? It was called Book of the Damned. Written by Larry Wachowski, who went on to be the Wachowski brother, who became Lana Wachowski.
That's
But
right.
this is before any of their movies came out, and it was a really, really good story about this rock star that uses the box to open up his, to get his career moving,
wow.
and hilarity ensues. It was a good book.
Nice. Yeah, I also got
And
a.
also, Clive Barker, I worked with him for a while on a whole bunch of different projects after that. He advised me to go work for Top Cow when I left Marvel. I went to his house. He had these really cool dogs. He has two houses that he bought in Beverly Hills, like right next to each other. One of them is just his office that he brings people to intimidate them. He has like all these paintings like all over this his conference room. He's a really cool guy.
Clive Barker.
It was fun working with him. Yeah.
Nice. We got a couple other covers here we can show people. There's this one.
Yeah, that was
Neil
was the issue
Gaiman,
that was-
and Dave McKean. So
Yeah, there was this Neil Gaiman crossword puzzle story that was like really, really good
all right.
by Dave McKean doing the art.
And Dave McKean's always good. And then there's this one here.
I don't even remember that one.
Oh.
My name's in that one?
Spring Slaughter.
Apparently, according to the fandom page where I found this, your name is listed as one of the editors.
Oh, they probably took a story that I worked on and put it in there.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, that's the Hellraiser Spring Slaughter special.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had like a whole bunch of books by him, like the Barker verse. They did like a whole line of books that came out like around then. They were really pushing the Clive Barker stories and stuff.
And speaking of Clive Barker stories, Dawn in the comments is talking about the Hellbound Heart. Yeah, there's your segue, Jake.
Yep. I read this right before watching the movie again, and it was interesting to see, like, I mean, I was really surprised how he was like basically like following the plot of the book to the letter. He made some changes here and there, just I guess to better suit a different medium, but other than that, it's pretty close.
Does it have the incest?
The incest? What incest are you talking about?
With
Come
the
to
uncle.
daddy.
Oh,
The
the uncle?
incest in the movie?
You don't really get the feeling that like, he's like, really trying to like come on to Kirsty. Actually,
in the movie or in the book? Or
well, they're not
neither?
even in the book. They're not even related. Like Kirsty isn't Larry's daughter. She's just like a friend of Larry's, who actually in the book is called Rory.
Oh.
And basically, it's like there's like a love triangle between Kirsty, Rory, and Julia. So
Kirsty.
yeah.
Yeah,
Kirsty.
the incest really threw me off. I was like, ugh.
So I guess to answer your question, no, there was no incest in the book.
That's nice. I wish
Yeah.
there was no incest in the movie because that was like too much for me. I was like, this is disgusting.
I like, not for nothing, but I like that was the cutting line. Like the guy getting ripped apart by
That's
friggin'
fine.
meat hooks, the little
Yeah.
carousel of body parts.
That's fine. Was there a vagina on that?
I
Probably.
don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, probably.
Probably.
There was. Yeah. I was like,
Pay attention to that.
Whatever the girl had on her neck was certainly a.
Abagor.
Is that what
I
it's
think that's her
called, or is
name.
that her name?
That's her name.
Oh, Avagor.
Abagor with a B, like Abigail, but Gore instead.
Abagor.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they were all Cenobites, basically.
I've been
Yeah.
calling them cellulites all week.
He has. I can vouch for that.
Just
The
not
nasty
taking it-
cellulites.
Look at the cellulites,
Look
y'all.
at those damn cellulites.
Yeah, we all hate cellulite.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what are the Jake? What are the official, or Dave? Somebody with more Hellraiser knowledge than me. What are the official names of these goons?
goons?
Official names? I know, well, Pinhead, his official designation is the Hell Priest. I don't think Barker ever gave him like an actual name other than that. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I was trying to explain to my son like where Pinhead came from.
Yeah.
Like I don't know when they started calling him that.
It was just something, a nickname that they gave him, and it just kind of stuck. But originally, yeah, it was supposed to be Priest, which was in the early drafts.
Mhm.
And then it became lead Cenobite
Mhm.
in the shooting script, and then Pinhead was a nickname, but Clive didn't really like that, actually.
Yeah, I could see how he wouldn't. It kind of demeans him a little bit.
Yeah.
He's a little less scary. Kind of like putting the heart there.
But as far as like in the IMDb, it's like it's female Cenobite,
Yeah.
chattering Cenobite.
Your
Which-
friend, the Chatterer.
Yeah, which I was trying to get Nick in.
Oh!
We have the same
I don't like that.
we had the same manager, but unfortunately he's been sick, and I got back. He got back to me today.
Very good.
It was
Good
just a little
changes.
too late.
But he was terrifying. He did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
And apparently he was supposed to, like, he and this other guy, the Butterball Cenobite, they were supposed to have like actual lines in the movie, but the makeup was so dense that they couldn't actually like enunciate their words.
Right.
Dude, his tail thing freaked me out.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the engineer?
Sure, that one. That one's tail
where
thing.
we got it.
Didn't like that.
Oh, that
Yeah.
one gave me total like Beetlejuice vibes.
I know.
Or yeah, that one, I guess. That one was too much for me.
But this is all practical.
I will say, I don't want to jump too far ahead to the special effects, but that was truly, even like, yeah, I get it. It's 80s. It's a little dated, but it's just still so impressive to me.
For
Mhm.
that,
that one was.
I felt the same way. That, we're kind of getting ahead, but I felt the same way as I was watching this. It's like, maybe a little bit cheesy now, but for that time, that was pretty good. And considering the fact that this was Clive's first take as a filmmaker,
Yeah.
and he himself has kind of said that it's like, he really didn't have any experience, and was kind of proud of himself, that he was able to do this. But there's a lot of faults though that I do have as his first film.
Well, maybe that's a good segue to start talking about the plot.
Yes.
What did you guys think? Because I'll be honest, for me, the effects were more of the like, oh, I'm here for the effects, I'm here for the visuals, I'm here for the lore. But the story, I thought, left a little something to desire.
I'll say I kept thinking I missed something. I kept thinking like, did they explain like why the box could pull them back in at the end? Or
No,
sorry, spoiler
I've
alert.
been making fun of that all week.
Or did like the guy saying he like the whatever the uncle whoever, like how he escaped them and they didn't know how to find him. He didn't really care about the box.
Yeah.
But somehow they're connected to the box. But I don't know, it was just weird, like all the like staying in that house for no particular reason.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, yeah, there were little things here and there, but nothing really connected. It was very piecey. And as far as like the brother coming back, it's like I keep Frank and Larry. I keep getting them mixed up.
Frank, right?
But
Frank was the demon.
right.
Yes.
Okay. So it was the blood from his brother that actually brought him back out of the demon world, if you will, I guess, because he died there.
So hot.
But you know, I can see why it was the blood, but because he died there, I don't know. And the box. Okay, so where does this box come from? Why do people go for it? How do they find out about it?
Non-specific Asian country.
Yeah.
I loved that. I was like, oh my god.
The
That was like
Wikipedia plot,
Gremlins.
the Wikipedia plot synopsis says it's Morocco.
You got
Yeah.
Mogwai, you got boxes. But I'm sorry, Marilyn. Go ahead.
No, and it was just there was question after question as you're kind of watching it because you don't know why a lot of things are happening, and but you understand some things, but not everything because it's not pieced together very well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was not pieced together well at all. And a lot of the dialect, I felt like there was a lot of cutscenes that maybe made more sense, and like I felt like they just couldn't add them for whatever reason.
You know
Dialogue didn't always match up.
that's a very good point that you make there because of the MPAA, they did have to make quite a few cuts to appease them, if you will, I guess. And so maybe some of that stuff, but supposedly it was like over the top gory. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's going to be like, I mean, some of the scenes where Julia, like, brings victims to Frank and just, beats him with a hammer. There are going to be scenes where that looks a lot more violent and brutal. So those that were cut. There was a sex scene between Frank and Julia that was apparently more intense that involved spanking that ended up on the cutting room floor. Yeah, they had to make all these cuts to bring it down from like, I guess, an X to an R rating.
Spanking, death by hammer. Those are the problem. Again, it blows my mind that
If those were in the movie, it would have made sense.
Yeah.
I was surprised with the sex scenes for this time of, for 87, what they did show.
Yeah.
I feel like the 80s, they showed a lot. Like, there were always titties. I was like, I actually thought I was going to be a younger girl. I was watching with my friend. I was like, we're going to see her titties by the time this is over. But as the other woman, I hate her hair so much. Oh my God. Her hair was so bad.
I'm sorry, what?
Her hair was so bad. Not hers. The other girl.
Julia's.
Dude, her hair was so disgusting.
That was typical 80s hair.
Just like David Bowie.
She looked like David Bowie. Exactly. Like, was that popular for women though? I feel like it was such a manly.
I think it was.
Hairspray. When it's short like that, yes. If it was long, it would be the short very up here and then spray the heck out of it. Yeah, they're so very typical.
I think if you look at the new wave bands from the 80s, a lot of the women had their hair like that.
Yeah.
So sad.
Like Missing Persons or Till Tuesday or any of those bands.
Really disgusting. Yeah, the Come to Daddy line Camper mentioned, like that part, like, that one like made my skin crawl. That was gross.
There's just a bunch of like kind of goofy bits like that. Like I'm sure they weren't intentional, but they just come across as like, oh my gosh, those dudes that are moving the mattress.
The couch.
Like,
yeah.
bro,
So
stop
crazy.
looking at my daughter. Stop.
They're very
looking at your
lecherous, yeah.
wife. Quit drinking my beer and move the friggin' mattress. What am I paying you for?
Right.
And
I
then he
don't
puts
understand what was so difficult about moving that mattress up the up.
It's
that
a
was
mat.
step.
It bends. It's a mattress.
And they're supposed to be professionals.
Yeah. Were they though?
No, I guess not.
And then, oh, here comes the nail. Uh-oh, here it comes. Don't get the nail. Don't get the And then he runs up 2 flights of stairs to be like, oh, honey, you got to look at this for me. I can't.
And the
can't do it.
dripping of the blood, like
all
it was
over
like
the
he had a
place.
main
Well, he knows he
artery.
can't trust the movers to help him out. You know?
Right?
They're not going to do anything. They can barely move a mattress. I mean, how long did it take to move that mattress?
Oh, you
It
guys
seems
stay
He
here
even
at the
been
bottom
helping
of
them in the
stairs.
first fucking place.
It seemed like an excessive amount of blood for what that was.
You
so
guys stay
much
here. I got to
blood.
go to the 3rd floor and talk to my wife.
And then when she like puts her cigarette out in the house and then
On the
steps
floor?
it,
Yeah, that
I
totally
was like-
bothered me.
that bothered you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it like
too.
really bothered me. I was like, you're moving into this house. And then they're just like, oh, there's rats in that room. We're gonna go to bed in this other room. I was like, hell no. hell no. I could not go. Oh no.
I just want to say real quick, John Crane, who just commented, we'll be announcing the details at the end of the stream, so hang tight.
Oh yeah.
You know, like in the very beginning there, when they do come into the house and he's explaining, you know, it's like, oh, it used to be in the family and all that kind of stuff. But and he's asking her, it's like, well, you sure it's okay? Is it all right? And she's like, yeah, it's all right. And she takes the cigarette and puts it out on the floor, and I'm like, obviously it's not okay if she's done that. And as to
why is she still with him though? Like,
yeah, they're like, they really do. I mean, I think the whole point of scenes like that is to just show how horribly matched they are, like on purpose, and how their marriage was never going to work because, you know, she's attracted to bad boys. She wants Frank.
yeah,
And the way he's set up, like, you know, he's got this, you know, they introduce him as like this guy with like these rugged good looks. You know, he's got the leather jacket on, the rain-soaked hair. I mean, it's like, I mean, like,
Smitten.
She's smitten, and you know, she's not supposed to be likable.
fair.
That's what I think. Like those scenes are like supposed to do.
Talking about characters,
Yes.
I did not like her at all.
Nobody did. I don't think you're supposed to.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
She's not sympathetic.
honestly, I did not like Larry either.
I didn't like
Well,
any of them.
I didn't
I
like
didn't
either.
like Larry. I didn't like Larry because he was the Scorpio killer from Dirty Harry.
Oh,
I think we looked it up at work. I think he was also in Star Trek at one point.
yeah, he was
like,
on an
under a
episode of like,
bunch
Deep
of like
Space Nine or
makeup.
something. Yeah,
You know, to me, all I was seeing was a theater actor who got his big break on the film and didn't know how to tone it down. That's what I kept seeing.
That was all of them. All of them.
But him more so than anybody.
I don't know. The daughter was horrible too. Like,
you
she
know
was
what,
so bad.
She came across in the very beginning as like, oh, this sweet little thing, and then she's working at this pet store and being very rude to everybody.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
why is there a monkey in the pet store?
That was
Like,
legal.
yeah, probably not.
I was like, what the hell?
Well, okay, so you know what?
Actually, my favorite character was the dragon.
Well, I was going to say, as far as like the monkey, it was filmed in the UK, but they realized that it would do better if it were an American-based film. So that may be why there was a monkey. May not be much of an issue in the UK as it is here.
Maybe.
I don't know. That was weird. I was
I
like,
know a lot of the. I was gonna say, I know a lot of the actors like had their voices dubbed over. Like the guy who played Human Frank. I mean, that's not him actually talking. That's like another actor just like
Interesting.
recording over his dialogue in post.
Huh.
so weird. Was his accent just too thick?
It must have been. And if they decided like at the last minute to move the setting from the UK to America, then yeah. And by the way, the guys who played Human Frank and Skinless Frank, they're two different actors.
Yeah.
They seem like two
Also-
different people.
If I can just say, it pissed me off that Skinless Frank kept putting shirts on. Like, bro, you're just gonna keep bleeding through them.
Oh, no, he won't. No, he doesn't. Remember, she's wearing a white blouse shirt and his hand like grabs her and there's not a print on it at all.
She puts his fingers in her mouth.
Yeah.
That made me gag. In fact, I didn't even finish the movie. I started watching it yesterday and I was like, I can't. This is too much for me. I can't. And then I woke up this morning and I was like, all right, you've got to finish this so you can talk about it. So I did get to the dragon. So I did finish it.
You mean
But,
this guy here?
Yeah, he's my favorite character. What the hell? I guess he makes sense in the movie too, but so
I
dumb.
don't know about that.
So
No, I
dumb.
don't.
So
he's
dumb.
also this guy.
Yeah, the
Right.
dragon. Yeah, he's a dragon. Dude, I laughed my butt off so hard. I was like, this movie is it's so bad. Like, how did this get a cult following? And the
At
weird thing
first-
is, I have never been drawn to Hellraiser ever. Like, I like horror. This one's never called my name. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
it's
now I know
never-
why. Like, I watched it and I was like, yeah, no, it's not for me.
This was never
feel like-
one that was on my like, oh, I gotta watch Hellraiser before I die. You know, had it not
Yeah.
been for Movie Club, I probably would not have. Like, I'm happy that I did watch it so that I can say that I did. But at the same time, same thing, Krystle. It's just never was like, oh, this is one that I need to see.
Yeah.
I feel like people who really enjoy it are able to just distill it down to what it is in its most pure form, which is, you know, you got this box that people obsess over. You open it, it takes you to hell, and hell is like torture and sensual pain and all this stuff, and don't care about anything else. Like, don't care about how the story doesn't make sense, don't care about the bad acting, don't care about all this stuff. And but there's people who are willing to do that. They do that all the time for like a lot of things. And I'm like, what did you see in that? But then if you hear them talk about it, it's like, oh, this concept of whatever, you know. And I think that's what Clive Barker was good at, was you know, that very basic idea seemed cool to people, and that gave it the cult following. Though I admit, I'd rather watch Rocky Horror than this if I needed to see a cult movie.
Yeah, Evil Dead, man, that was my jam.
Or Evil Dead, yeah.
I can see where the cult following would follow the Cenobites, like all the Cenobites, because if anything, they were the best things out of the film. Versus the and versus everything else.
And I guess I will say that a little bit, maybe a plus side to the ambiguity within the film about who these people are, you know, what their world is, how you summon them, whatever. I think maybe that lends a little bit to their interest, you know, like, oh, I want to know more about these guys. I mean, even their designs themselves are, you know, each one is so unique, disgusting and unsettling, but unique and interesting. And thank you. Exactly. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we were talking in the office today. Apparently, like, her nickname on set was Deep Throat.
Yes.
Oh,
Got a deep
can't
throat.
see anything else now.
But Clive got his inspiration from the punk fashion.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the Cenobites.
Oh, I can definitely see that. I feel like, you know, the early 90s, you know, punk fashion is so, you know, black, you know, trench coats and boots and leather and
nails and spikes.
Yeah.
Don't forget, this was in 87. So 3 years before that.
They were a lot more hardcore back then.
Yeah. And the second one came out, I just looked it up, 88. So I was like, all right.
Wow.
I just, you know, and I've seen, you know, people dressed up as Pinhead, for lack of a better word, at conventions and stuff. And I do a lot of the horror conventions, and I do see, like, it has a cult following for sure. Dave, what is your take on the people who are kind of like followers of this film?
Well, I think that they're followers of him. I know that I think I sort of mentioned it before. Like I went on a little tour with him of like all these comic book stores and bookstores, and the crowd of people that would just like come to and read everything of his, loved him so much. They just love his style. They love the things that he creates. Scott wrote this thing, What Happened to Clive Barker, that he writes these stories, and it's true. I think he's really like raised like a Catholic. So that's like a lot of religion is part of it, and his fans like love him, like I'd say for decades. I remember someone came up and had like flesh for him to sign, like just dried flesh, like just gave it to him and said, "Can you sign this for me?" People all wanted their body signed and stuff. I mean, he understands his audience, and a lot of what he does is to his audience.
Yeah. So Jake and David Jake, you read the book. David, have you read the book?
No.
Okay. So Jake, did you like the book more than the film?
Well, the book kind of like, you know, deepens the characters a bit. I mean,
how long is the book?
Oh, it's very short. It's a novella, so it's only like 165 pages.
Okay.
Yeah, you can knock it out in maybe like an afternoon or something, depending on how fast you read. But yeah, I mean, like, it kind of makes you like hate Frank even more, because there are like, you know, passages that are like, you know, where he's basically admitting that he like thinks very little of Julia, that he only sees her as a means to an end. And,
what end?
You know, what?
What end?
I gotta get my skin.
He's trying to get back. He's trying to rebuild himself. He's trying to come back to life. He doesn't actually care about happily ever after with her, you know?
I definitely saw that. I didn't.
I was confusing him with Larry.
Yeah, see, same. You know, and maybe there really isn't much of a difference between the two. I mean, there is, because like they're almost opposites, where it's like the one is very oppressive and very in your face, and the other one is just like very meek and tries not to get on Julia's case, or you know, does whatever she wants, kind of a thing. So, but it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like because you said the same thing. It's like hard to tell them apart.
Yeah.
I will just quickly side note one thing I thought was interesting, and this maybe goes back to more of the lore and like undeveloped stuff in the film, but I thought it was interesting. Like like he was getting skin each time his body was building and building and building and building. So then all of a sudden, like I kept expecting him to just go back into his own skin. He's rebuilding himself, but then he stole his brother's skin. Like I feel like that kind of came out of left field a little bit, not entirely, but it was certainly not where I was expecting it to go. I wasn't expecting a body swap element.
I wasn't either.
I don't understand. I mean, I can see why. Okay, if he literally really was going to go away with Julia, you know, take his persona so that he can. But did he really need to do that? I mean, I don't know.
Or maybe it was to hide from the Cenobites, like he doesn't want them to figure out that he's them.
That's
again, I just felt like
he needed to like confess his identity before they actually like took him back to their dimension.
We wanted to hear it from your own mouth.
Yes.
Didn't he just put his brother's face on?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
I
But he couldn't get his own face. His own face was gone, so he needed a face.
Oh, that's right. It gets
okay
at the beginning, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think he just took his brother's face.
I like Maze's comment. I totally agree. Hellraiser is good in theory. Like that's why like the book might be good to read, because I did honestly like the theory of it, but I guess just like the way that they did it was just kind of not it for me.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a cool concept.
And I can see where if done correctly, it would probably be a 2 to 3 hour movie, so that everything can be explained versus just coming in the way they did with all this story and then okay, let's kill these people off and this is what these people are. But I think in order for it to be done correctly, it probably would need to have all the explanations in there so that then they can go into their
compare this to Fury Road that we reviewed last year. And with Fury Road, they maybe give you 5 minutes of an explanation, and like as soon as the movie starts, you're in. You know, they drop it. You don't need to know anything. I feel like with this, it might have worked a little better had we had those rules kind of in place. Like, okay, this is the game that we're playing. Or like, nah, you can't feed them after dark. Oh no, you can't get them wet.
Right.
You know, like
can't give them blood. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole time too, I'm thinking to myself, how is Krystle not realizing that there's all this blood?
I know that part bothered me so much. I was like, your dad's like entire like face off is like bleeding.
Oh, Dad, thank God you're okay.
Yeah.
No, he's definitely not. Like,
I mean, he did say that, like, you know, he basically admitted that he killed Frank. So maybe that led her to believe that they were like, you know, those are like injuries from the scuffle.
I don't know.
Gary, it would be a lot better if there were gremlins.
Yeah,
it's definitely not gremlins.
No, not
bunch of cute little Cenobites that come out and dance.
Cute. Yeah, so be awesome. Way much better. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, and chat, who are some of your favorite characters in the movie? Like, what was your favorite Cenobite? What made you like this? I noticed that Sir John said that he really liked it, and he just kind of liked it for the gore, just kind of like don't worry about the plot twist or any like the loopholes, just kind of just go for it, which, you know. So I'm just kind of curious, like, chat, is this a movie that you grew up with? Did you guys like it? For me, watching it for the first time, I definitely didn't really I I mean, I laughed a lot, but then I was also like super disgusted a lot. And they had a cockroach in there with a bunch of maggots, and I spit out my dinner. Like I was just like,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I was eating
blah.
spaghetti when I started watching the movie, and I stopped. I'm
Yep.
like, all right, that's it. I guess I'm not eating dinner.
Yep. Things we do for Movie Club.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't have to be from the original.
What, Dave? Oh, no.
Deanna was asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deanna, if you anything about the franchise, really, I would just be curious to know, like Krystle said, what it is that, why do you love it so much?
Yeah, how are they
you're
able
allowed
to make 10 of them? Like, how do they make 10?
Yeah. I will say I enjoyed yeah, no, not at all. I have appreciated like there are a lot of like pop culture references. Like Dave, I saw you had before the stream started some Rick and Morty pictures in your background. I made Jake and Sarah watch a clip from the Venture Brothers. So there's all these like, okay, now it makes sense. This is a Hellraiser reference. Like, all right, I understand a little bit more of my media consumption.
Yeah, but I think if you culturally just, again, it just is this box that pulls the chains out, and even on Supernatural, when Dean goes to hell, it basically was sort of the Hellraiser hell that he goes to, with all the chains flying around, and so I think it just became part of the culture.
Yeah.
And Trent has a very good comment here, basically saying style over substance. When they were, developing special effects for the time period, which again I think were absolutely phenomenal. And yes, Sir John, he's got a toaster for his head. Friggin' meat toast comes out. Taste my pleasure toast. You have to watch it.
Frank reminded me of Adam Levine.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
No.
Just by looking. I don't think Adam Levine acts like that, but
No, don't ruin it, Dave.
Now that I think about it, he kind of did look like George Michael.
More George Michael to me.
Yeah.
When he's got kind of like the half beard.
Yeah.
The stubble, yeah.
Yeah. Adam Levine is too skinny.
Chiseled jawline.
Yeah, Frank was hot.
Yeah, give him like a single earring.
I think the woman reminded me a little more of Billy Idol.
Dude, I could not get over that hair. That hair was so bad. I was just like, oh my God, this poor woman. Why? Ugh.
That poor woman.
Yeah. All right. So what's next? What's the next question?
Special effects, I think.
Yeah, we kind of started to talk a little bit about scenes.
The special effects is what's like, if any like redemption comes from this film, that I love I love special effects, and tangible special effects is way better. I hate CGI, even though I worked in CGI for a few years. I would always prefer to see like what the human can create. So that was cool.
Except for that effect at the end when they were getting pulled back into the box.
Yeah, they animated. I mean, they hand animated that apparently, like over the course of one weekend. I think I'm trying to think of what Clive Barker's story was. I mean, it was him and just some random Greek guy. They just animated it by hand, and they would been like really drunk while they were doing it.
Clearly.
So,
that's why it doesn't look
it was a limited budget as well. So
they used it all for the first like 3/4 of the movie, and they were like, shit, we need some lightning. Guys, we need some lightning. Hey, shit, come on. And then also the thing I've been making fun of was just like going back a little more into the ending was just like, oh no, she's caressing the box. Don't do that.
Yeah,
all of a sudden rubbing. Oh no, she's discovered if you gently caress the circle on the square, it'll suck us back in.
That's another deviation from the book. I'm pretty sure they don't actually try to take her. They just let her go because she delivered Frank. She held up her end of the bargain, and that was it.
Yeah, as it should be. I felt like the ending was like, I guess from a theatrical point, kind of funny, but like it was just so cheeseballs. I was like, oh my God, whatever interest I had in the movie, this is silly.
I was wondering, it's like, because it felt like, okay, like they automatically knew how to open the box, and why would they know that? It
Yeah,
felt too easy.
way too easy. But yeah.
See, I thought that. Wait, so Jake, you could tell me that. Tell this too, because I kind of felt like. I mean, it seems like as the mythology grew, it was more about like the puzzles were really difficult, and it was the obsession and the puzzle that got you to open it.
Yeah,
Was
that,
that was
because
any
they
of
were just,
that in the book?
I mean, with people like Frank, he basically said, like, they show him in the beginning, like after he like sleeps with Julia, he says like it's never enough. Like, he's like he gains no like gratification from any like, just regular, sensory experience. So he has to look elsewhere, to other worlds, other dimensions. And he feels like the box can provide that.
That's
Yeah.
in the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
so Frank needed crazier sex, and that's
Yeah.
what threw him there.
Mhm.
He got
Exactly.
Gross.
Hey, this was pre-Tinder.
This is pretty tender.
Pre-Tinder, pre-Grinder,
Hmm.
pre all the ers.
Good
Yeah.
Lord. Yeah.
I do think. Oh, go ahead, Marilyn.
Well, Sir John is saying that the box wants to be opened, and so
Yes.
maybe that's why it was then made. I can see that. I can see that.
Oh yeah. They
Yeah, and
want to
that's-
play with someone new.
And I guess that was like the purpose of like this guy who later turns into this guy. That's why it stopped the box from being burned, so it could just like, keep passing it along to like, new victims, new souls. And this way the
Okay, yeah.
Cenobites can have their fun.
You
back
kind
in
of
Morocco.
why is this homeless person there? So maybe he is the keeper of the box.
That was my impression, yeah.
I am the keeper of the box. The box
The
is been
guardian
kept.
of the
I
box.
now take it back to Morocco, give it to my contact. He sells it for a cool mill, and we do this for decades.
I get a cut of the profits.
The
I love-
fireproof keeper of the box.
I love how they like can't afford to burn down the house or demolish it in any way, really. And so like they just show a picture of the house, and then they're in a random field next to like an office building. And I was like, this house did not have this office building behind here. Like it was just so bad. I was like, bring the camera up and shoot down. Like, I don't know. And then they had like the one, like the piece of like a chair to like kind of show that it was the house.
Yes.
Was
Yeah.
it the house though? Was that at the actual site of the house? I always figured they just went to a junkyard or something.
Well, they probably did. They probably did. It
Well,
was
they
the actual-
definitely did. But it was supposed to be the house.
Yeah, but it
So
was supposed to be. And they actually did shoot in a house, except for the attic, which was in a studio.
It one more. I got a lot of gripes. I'm gonna keep sharing them, but
Go ahead.
it killed me that she's running away from reincarnated Frank. And she's like, which door? Well, I can't go into that door. It has the Cenobites in it. All right, let me go into this door. Jesus statue jump scare. Oh no, dead body jump scare. Oh, he's gone. All right, time to go back out into the door that he just came from, and then cry as loud as possible.
I didn't think she was that loud. I mean, I figured, she's just like she's crumbling under the pressure. It
Get
happens.
out of the freaking house.
Right.
She's scared shitless. She can't move.
I don't know.
It isn't until like Frank comes out that her like fight or flight kicks in again.
No,
And then you just go
no.
right back into the other room.
If
I
you're
want you
in
to
the
know-
room trying to be quiet, it's like you don't go out of the room not knowing where he is and not, all of a sudden start crying where he can possibly hear you.
Right? What if he's in the hall, freaking doing yo-yo, and hey, there she is.
Doing yo-yo.
Yeah, he's yo-yoing. I was gonna say he's like on his cell phone checking his sports book, but no,
Cell
it's,
phone.
Cell
it's
phones,
80 it's 87, so he's probably just playing with his yo-yo.
He's on his like brick phone checking his stocks.
It wasn't even a brick phone yet.
Well,
He goes out to his car, gets in his car, turns it on, uses his car phone.
yeah, that.
It might have been car phones.
Yeah, when did they have at least car phones? Maybe.
I think by then they had car phones.
Wait, when did Wall Street come out? That was that late 80s?
I don't. Yeah, I would say more late 80s and maybe even to the 90s. As far as like car phones.
That's
Yeah,
only for
Yo-Yo-
the rich
Oh
people.
no, Wall Street came out that year, the same year. It was 1987, and
Oh,
so
there were
yeah,
those
so
phones
Michael
in there.
Douglas had one of those brick phones.
But
in that
only the uber wealthy had those phones.
So Pinhead could have had one.
yeah.
Why play with a weird demon sex box when you can just have a nice yo-yo?
It's never enough.
It's never. I walk the dog. I make it sleep. I can get it around my head, but it's never enough.
Is that a mafia Cenobite?
That's it. No, that's Fred. Hey, actually, I do like a mafia Cenobite though.
Yeah.
So we got Gremlin Cenobites. We got mafia Cenobites.
I can see this guy speaking with a thick Italian accent.
Hey.
Hey, buddy,
Absolutely.
come over here. I'm
Tony
talking to you.
Soprano.
Just what I got out.
Hey, pull
Pull
me
me
back
back
in.
Oh my gosh.
Our true enemy has
All
yet
right.
to reveal himself.
All right. So while
Tony
we're on
Soprano bite.
good. All right. I would like to take a moment to talk about the overall composition of the movie. Did you guys notice how before Julia kills somebody, she's dressed in black, but after she kills somebody, she's always dressed in white?
I did notice
not
that
know that.
actually.
That's really cool to me. Like really good use of color, and I love the camera angles in this thing. The the cinematographer was a guy named Robin Vigen. I don't think he really did a lot of. I mean, he's worked as like a camera operator or a second unit director on like movies like Event Horizon, Never Say Never Again. But I think his like as far as like being like a straight up director of photography, his resume is pretty small, and it's all like these really obscure titles. But
Which one scared her dog?
what?
Oh, I think Gary is saying that the pic scared her dog. I think the picture of
Aw.
Butterball freaked one of Gary's
Oh,
dogs
Butterball,
out.
yeah.
No more Butterball.
sorry.
That's so funny.
But yeah,
Sorry, Gary's dog.
I love how like like the contrast between like kind of like the dark gloomy atmosphere of the house, and then when she goes to the bar to drink, there's this like stark white background. Like it's like Barker's really trying to like just point out how like sanitized the rest of the world is compared to like her own little world.
I will be the person that, because my thinking is like, well, is that what he had available to shoot?
Hmm.
Well, it worked. It worked to the movie's advantage.
Yes, it did. But just like with Kevin's film, it's like everybody thinking if there was a story behind him shooting black and white, and thinking that it was probably how you look through the video of the video store and all that kind of stuff. It's like, no, it was just cheaper to shoot that way. So
But it works.
It
And now
did. I
you
mean,
have
like,
all these layers
one of
now.
Kevin's biggest influences is Jim Jarmusch, right?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I know he's like, he's done like interviews and stuff where he talks about like movies like Stranger Than Paradise and Down by Law and how they really like influenced him like on the indie circuit. So, I mean, he could have just told people like, yeah, this is me paying homage to that, and kept up the lie for 30 years. By the way, happy 30th anniversary to Clerks premiering at Sundance, I guess earlier this week, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
2 days ago, and today I would have been arriving into Sundance. So
Oh.
yes,
All right.
thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right.
But yeah, I mean, it's like those comparisons that you see of the differences between scenes. It's like they're great, and sometimes it could be a happy accident because you never know. It's like he's probably just working with what he's got, and sometimes those happy accidents just kind of happen.
I think those are the best kind too. Like it's meant to be,
Right.
And to answer Camperman's question, yes, he did do Dead Man with Johnny Depp. Jim Jarmusch. Okay.
All right. Is it any final thoughts on the movie before we move to our ratings?
It was not for me. I think this is like been the quietest I've ever been on it. Yeah.
Like I said, I left it the same way I did the last time, which is thinking that I missed something. But think of it, I mean, there was a coolness to it,
Yeah.
As a person who likes things to make sense, it always bothered me that there's just so many parts that don't.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It was
I agree with you, Dave.
I think it was definitely whoever the gentleman was that said it earlier, style over substance. You know, it was very, I didn't like looking at it, but it was still a nice looking film, if that makes sense. Like, again, like I didn't like the content that was, you know, being shown, but like, obviously it's a visual horror. There's different types of horror, you know, suspense, like psychological. This one was definitely visual.
This is a
And
horror.
yeah, it just makes you feel grimy and gross and cockroaches and maggots.
Yeah, I hated that part. I like that. I can't do that. That's like scarier. Real like live cockroaches are way worse to me than like any like gore stuff.
I mean, even just like how dirty the house was, you know,
Yes,
it's got
it was
all sorts of
filthy,
awful visual horrors.
So I guess Camperman, he says that you have to picture this film as the whole ensemble of the 5 Hellraiser movies. And then, of the first 5 Hellraiser movies, and then you'll appreciate it maybe because it fleshes out the story, and you just have to watch more and more movies to get that.
That's
including the one with the CDs that carve people up.
I kind of want to see that. We were talking about 3D movies earlier. Is it something like, look out for these CDs?
You know, it might have been. There was another movie that came out later that I feel like ripped it off. The sequel to The Collection, where he goes into a club and like kills all these people, and that's basically what the whole movie just about takes place in a nightclub in the third movie, and it's just killing like everybody at the nightclub basically.
All right.
So they embrace the gore and the violence for sure.
Well.
All right, so shall we give ratings?
Yes. So Ralph and Brian were kind enough to send me their ratings, beforehand. So they've already established the point system. We're going to be ranking this from 0 to 5 pins.
I figured.
So you might have saw on the email, Brian gives this film 3.5 pins.
Oh, he didn't do one of those video reviews?
No video review to this week.
No, unfortunately, neither one of them had time to do a video review. So next episode, stay tuned, viewers out there in the audience. If you want to find out why they gave you the scores that they did, we're going to grill them on it next time. So Brian gave it 3.5 pins. Ralph gave it 2.75 pins.
No.
So what was nice about this is because Pinhead's face is on a grid, I was like, all right, that's 75%.
Yeah.
Pinhead. That's 50% of Pinhead. Easy peasy.
Oh, gosh.
All right, so who wants to give their score?
That seemed more like 2 2/3 pins, actually.
2 2/3.
1, 2, 3, 8, and 4.
That's it.
But we're not gonna.
Whatever.
Listen, Linda.
Listen. Let's talk Pinhead.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
How many pins?
All right.
Yeah, Sir John, I would like to know this question too. Why does Ralph choose movies he doesn't like? I don't think Ralph chooses them alone, and I begged them to help me. I said I want to be on the committee that picks them this year because you guys have picked horrible movies in the past. I get some good ones. We had Barbarella, which is a perfect film. And then I'm just kidding. I'm gonna give this one a 1.
Ooh,
just one pin.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 1. I did not like it. I laughed for all the wrong reasons, and I will never watch this film again, probably. So yeah, I just didn't like it. I know. Yeah. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
I will.
You're entitled to your opinion.
Maybe if I read the book, I would have given it higher. And the book might sound fun. Again, I think the concept was really cool. I don't really know of a concept quite like this. And I think, it had a lot of potential, and I do understand that it was in 87. So for that, maybe I'll give it a 1.5. And I do understand that it has a really good cult following. And for that, I respect it. I do respect this film, as a part of, cinema history. I understand now kind of who those fans might be. but I am not one of those fans. So I am a horror fan. I actually do really enjoy horror films. The older I get, I'm kind of like, it's kind of weird. I really only watch horror films like gore during October. I love the thrillers, like the psychological thrillers. That's kind of more my speed. But this one was just like so many eye rolls. And I really do think that maybe a lot of the cut scenes killed the film. And because I did leave feeling a lot of what Dave felt, like just very like, there's got to be something here that I'm not catching or that I missed. So I think 1.5. No, just a 1. I'm just
Sticking with the 1.
All right.
1 pen. Next.
1 pen. Single pen.
Single pen.
I'll go.
Marilyn?
I can understand what you just said, Krystle, but I have to add points because of the special effects that were done very well, considering the time period, as well as how well the Cenobites and the practical makeup and all that kind of stuff looked. So it's taking away for storyline, but kind of bumping it back up for all these other things.
Yeah.
So for me, I was kind of like with Ralph, like either 2.75 or a 3. Like, and I know that's not much, but it's enough. So I think I'm just gonna go with like a 3. And it's funny, saying how in the very beginning, how this movie just really just left me shook when I first saw it. And like watching it now as an actor and as someone who's got a level head, that wow, how did I not see that there was no storyline back then? Not really. It was just all the practical effects that just really affected me at that time, and the goriness of it. So yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, and if I had watched it when I was younger, I think I would have given it a much higher rating. But because it was my first time watching it, I think that's why it gets a little less for me.
Mm-hmm.
Before I saw Ralph's number, I was thinking of 2.75 also. So maybe because of what Noah set up, I'll say 2 2/3.
You're going 2 2/3.
2/3.
Why?
Yeah, you gotta state your reason. Show your work,
because
David.
I give it a little bit of points for its cultural significance because it was like a trendsetter, and I agree, like the special effects for its time were really good. Yeah, but the acting I don't like, and yeah, so basically just the general concept I feel like warranted the grade just because it meant so much to so many people, and I can see why it means so much to so many people. And then just the subtractions for the other stuff that I've already mentioned, not making sense, and acting is weird, and the guy reminding me of the killer from Dirty Harry.
So would you say 2 2/3? All right, good to know. Thank you. Yeah. I think I'm gonna give it a 2.25. 2.25. I was thinking about giving it something lower, but I feel like probably last year when we did Species, I gave Species maybe like a 2 or something. And I feel like this is still better than Species. I didn't like it, but I can't give Species a 2 and then give this less in good conscience. So for all the reasons that you guys stated, I definitely think it's a cultural impact. I put Pinhead, even though having never seen the movie, I put Pinhead on that Mount Rushmore of horror icons, with Jason and Krueger and all those guys. But don't need to say anything about the Universal monsters, of course. But I just think not my style. Had it not have been for Movie Club, I would not have watched it.
Yeah.
I probably, like Krystle, will never watch it again. It was a weird movie to watch in January, Jake had said. I agree.
Why?
Yeah.
It's just
like you had said, Krystle. It's normally for like the gore
October.
and stuff. It's like more about October.
It's more of a fall horror movie. Like in January, like I mean, if I have to watch any horror movie, it would have to be like something more elevated, something like like X or Pearl, or a good slasher, like the last 2 Scream movies. They came out around this time of year, and it felt perfect to me. But something like this
It's
intense,
very Halloween.
yeah, something this intense, yeah, you got to reserve it for just fall.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
So Jake, what do you give it? How many?
Yeah,
points?
since you've read the book, I'm very interested in your
All
story.
right. I love this movie. I like it a whole hell of a lot. And as far as us talking about how it doesn't give you all the answers and the characters aren't very well developed, I'm gonna go ahead and compare this to The Shining. It's in that it's more of a visceral experience. It prioritizes just making you feel uncomfortable. So much so that I don't really think the other stuff matters, the developed characters. And it's okay that you don't have the answers. I remember the first time I saw this, I was really blown away by the character design. They had me, all the Cenobites had me squirming in my seat. And that's what I think some of the best horror movies do. This one definitely did it for me. So I'm going to go ahead and give it 4 pins.
4 pins.
That's high.
I'm excited to finally watch the sequels. Probably not until the second half of the year at least. And the reboot with what's her face, Jamie Clayton. And somebody was asking earlier in the chat, have we seen it? I haven't. I don't know if you guys have.
Yeah, so that kind of came out when I think is that the 2000s one?
That's the 2022 one.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
See, and Sir John brought up a really good point. You guys lack the blockbuster horror experience. When you and your friends go into a blockbuster and get the shittiest horror movie, laugh and throw popcorn at the screen. So I think that
2 of us here don't lack that.
Hey, I had Blockbuster.
I had Blockbuster.
I had Blockbuster too.
We're
And
not that young.
Don't count me out.
yeah, and I think Sir John, I think you're right. I watched this by myself at night, and I was just like, this is too much for me. I think that if I had watched this with a girlfriend or a group of people, I probably would give it a 2.5, a 3. Because I think having a group experience with this would be way more fun. Sadly, that's not how I watched it. I did watch it by myself. So I think that Sir John is very correct. And this, I understand that this is a very, Noah said it best. This is a Rushmore. It's one of the top horror movies from this time. And I just, I'm gonna keep it a 1 though.
Had totally fair.
So
yeah. To each their own, I say.
yes.
Yeah.
So should we announce the thingy? No?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's take a look. This is the official, the brand new. So as you all are aware, Sun, although we love her, is no longer doing the movie club covers. She is going to be tackling some other projects with Zenescope. She's still working with us on a regular basis. But we're doing Elias Chatzoudis artwork for this year's movie club. So without further ado, here is Elias's interpretation of Pinhead.
Dun, dun, dun.
Beautiful.
I like it.
I do too. Elias has a very I don't want to say Disney, but it's I don't know, a princess almost kind of vibe, between the eyes and
there's an innocence to his work.
Yes, the
That's a good way
large
to put it.
breast screams innocent.
with the big C-rated bar over top of it.
I do like the outfit on the unrated version versus the Z-rated version. I gotta say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What character was this?
It's Hellchild.
No, what's this?
Yes.
That's a
The
Zenescope
Zenescope
character.
Yeah.
So
You
the
guys have a
Zenescope
character
character,
called
her name.
It's a weird version of the Zenescope character, Hellchild. Yeah.
Wait, what? I don't think I've read any of y'all's stuff from. What?
Hell yeah! Let me give you a quick little info.
Yeah, I don't think I'm
Hellchild
familiar with this
is
one.
the daughter of
I gotta go. Sorry.
Thanks, David.
All right. Thank you, David.
David. Have a good
Okay,
one.
please tell me and Noah, because I don't think I have anything from you guys with her. What is the name?
Hellchild.
Yeah, so her name's Hellchild. I definitely recommend Pat Shand wrote a number of her original issues when she first came out.
Yes.
She is the daughter of Hades, the god of death. So when Hades was, back in ancient Greece, he has this daughter, but well, I don't know if I can spoil it. Something happens to her, and she dies. And in our modern times, she ends up coming back, and she's kind of this like half-breed demon / vampire, and she kind of goes out and she's badass. I
Is
definitely
she wearing
recommend.
the Van Helsing outfit?
Yeah, so she first
I'm
appears.
like, what?
Yeah, so she first appears in the Van Helsing comic books because
Okay.
Van Helsing, Liesel, dates Hades. The two of them are a couple. And so all of a sudden you have his daughter from, thousands of years ago coming back and being introduced into their kind of relationship. So you've got some cool kind of interpersonal drama, but then you've also got, of course, demons and monsters and vampires and crazy.
She's even got the lightning bolts, the ridiculous lightning bolts.
Mhm.
Okay, I haven't read any of these. Okay, cool. See,
Yeah, and of course, fitting
more you know,
for
very fitting, actually.
Yeah, so
Nice. Okay.
I am throwing the link to that book in the comment section. So if you are watching and if you would like to purchase it, it is available in both a standard and Z-rated version. But that's not all, because we are trying something a little different, at least this month, maybe more months moving forward. We're going to be running contests where we'll be giving away some free stuff. And this is not Zenescope's first take on Hellraiser. In fact, another very talented cover artist, Vinz El Tabanas, did his own Hellraiser interpretation not too long ago.
I love that.
Yeah.
Right? It's beautiful. And again, Hellchild,
Also
Hellraiser.
Hellchild, yeah.
There's some thought put into it. Shout out Dave's.
That's very
So if you are watching right now, dear viewers, you can actually win the original artwork
Oh, wow.
for that Hellchild cover. So all you have to do, if you're interested in playing, is once we conclude this live stream, bop on over to the YouTube video, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, what have you. Come on over here to good old YouTube and put a comment in the comment section, basically just letting us know how you rank the movie at a score of 1 through 5. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and if we get 100 likes by January 29th, that is the stipulation. If we get 100 likes, then we will choose one lucky commenter from the comment section to win that original artwork. So if you want a one-of-a-kind, one-of-one original pencil work from Vinz El Tabanas depicting Hellchild as the infamous Pinhead, look no further than Zenescope's Movie Club. Head on over to the comment section, and you too can be a winner.
I love that.
That's a pretty cool win there, right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Noah, send me that thing and I'll post it on my channels too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please do.
I will
Yeah, that'd be great.
email it afterwards.
Hell yeah.
Sorry guys, but I've been pushing it, but I have a heart out now.
That is fine. We all got to leave. We all got places
Yes.
to be. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Marilyn, thank you. Krystle, thank you. Jake,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Thank you to all of our viewers out there.
Bye,
And
guys.
join us next month.
Bye, everyone. See you
Bye.
then.